Greetings everyone and welcome back to Hearthlands, where in this episode we're going to be completing what I would consider the fourth and final tutorial mission of the game. In this one we're going to be introduced to the Northerners, who are masters of the hunt. Apart from meat, each animal provides an additional resource such as leather from boars, feathers from turkeys, and wool from rabbits. 2 hunters' lodges per group of animals is usually enough. Well, that is wonderful. So we've got trolls on this map. It's not going to be great, honestly. They are actually spread out in quite a couple of locations. We can also hunt for fish, or rather fish for fish. We've got some stone, iron. This is probably one of the better locations because it's quite central. However, up here we've got a lot of decent hunting straight off the bat. So maybe we could set up a little bit of something over here. Sure, okay. Let's start a small settlement just to get the ball rolling. And yeah, this is going to be a fairly standard settlement to start with. So no fancy canals, no fancy noble quarters with their beautiful gardens or anything like that. That is between the buildings. Of course, we are going to have fancy noble quarters in that we're going to have a library, if you want to consider that noble. Right, let's get this out here. We've got reasonable access to wood just over there. So I think, how far out is that? We could. It's a little bit far though. But I think it'll be a decent enough place to start. Let's pop a storage shed there and a herbalist shop right there. And finally, we're going to want ourselves... Yeah, let's get a forester. Now, the forest is not going to be planned for the flowers. Flowers are going to be very important in this one. Very, very important for us. I would like you to go ahead and store... Since it's only really logs and medicine I want being stored here, I'm going to allow you to store up to 16. That'll do for now. Go ahead and store as much of that as you possibly can. Next, we are definitely going to want to get some food. Now, we've got a couple of good options around here. Turkeys, boars. We can actually have quite a nice little hunting area just situated around there, I would say. So with that in mind, I'm going to place a peddler's right there as a sort of border for this road we're about to build, and then draw the road out to around about here, I would say. Yeah, something like that. We'll allow people to start filtering in. In fact, I'm going to go ahead and place the apothecary, or I would if I could. See, one advantage to being so close to the edge of the map is it does not take very long at all for people to filter in. Now, we are going to want a couple of hunters' lodges. We can tell them specifically they're not allowed to hunt certain things. Well, that's possibly a good idea, actually. I'm not sure how this will work as things get slowly more and more backed up. That is a bit of a concern that I have. We're going to have actually 4 of them straight off the bat. Furthermore, I would like a woodcutter specifically for this group. So we'll place the woodcutter down here. We'll have a little road running back down there. And we'll go ahead and place down a forester's as well. Sure, we'll have it about there. I don't think that's too much of a problem. This one can plant trees, and this will support our hunters. Specifically, it'll support the smokehouses, which are going to require a reasonable bit of wood to run. There we go. That's everything we need. Now, with this done, I'm going to go ahead and... I think we'll have the storage area just built out a little bit over here. We'll place that there. We can expand this later on. So I want this to accept feathers, leather, and meat. Now, you can't just eat meat. It's not cooked. Unfortunately, our peasants do not have fires of their own with which to cook the meat. Apparently. I'm not sure I completely believe that story, but, you know, they say it with conviction, so, okay. Let's draw that down. Now we are going to need a little bit of wood here. So let's actually request wood. Let's make sure that we've got a fair amount. So we'll actually take 16, and we will accept 16 worst. There we go. Now, it's going to be a little while before we're at the point where we can run all of this. We're quite far off that mark, actually. So let's go ahead and get another group of houses down as well, and this will put us in good stead. Now, of course, we're going to need to look into alcohol production very soon, actually. Very, very soon. Finally, we'll go ahead. Sure, we'll place these last 4 just down here. Much the same pattern. This isn't going to be a very complicated little district, this one. This one's just to get us started off. There we go. That should be fine. Okay, with all of that in place, we should have enough people about to fill the houses that we're not going to have any trouble catering for the food, because all of this will start to fill out the jobs. We've got extra room for another 80 people, and as soon as we start moving around some food there, then that will have even more room. In fact, we have got more room, more than enough room for the worker shortage that we've got at the moment, which is very nice to see. Right, I'm also going to place down a storage area right here. The first thing I want you to get is 12 medicine. I would also like 12 worst. There we go. And further to that, eventually we're going to want 12 mead as well. There we go. That shouldn't take you too long to gather, I don't think. Now, for our alcohol, the way that Northerners do it is by making mead. And mead needs bees, and bees need flowers, which is why our foresters can suddenly plant flowers. It's not for prettification, I wish it were. Unfortunately, all the flowers will always look like this, which actually does get under my skin a little bit. I wish we could have carpets of different kinds of flowers, but no, apparently not. That is not for us. Now, to get this, we're going to need a beekeeper's lodge. We're probably going to end up wanting quite a few of these. How much? We've got a worker shortage at the moment, but as soon as we actually start seeing some food moving around, that'll get fixed. So I'm going to speed up time a little bit while I'm placing this down. Now, each beekeeper's lodge will benefit from up to 24 different hives, and the way that that works is the more flowers a hive has around it, the more efficient the hive, which is actually quite a neat little way of doing it, in my opinion. I actually quite like this setup. I'm not sure if the hives themselves will, the flowers themselves will grow over time. I think they don't. I think they only get planted by a forester. So that's one thing to keep in mind. But you want to try and get as many flowers neighboring the hives as possible. How much is that? 4, 8. Okay, and we want another 4 still. We don't want to get too close to that troll, unfortunately. Actually, let's get rid of that one, because that's in a location where I'll eventually want to place another beekeeper's lodge. So we'll place this one up there. Now, I'm not sure if the proximity of the bees has anything to do with anything, but I tried to spread them out a little bit. And we'll also get another forester in to plant only flowers. We're going to want quite a lot of those. There we are. We've got extra room for a few more, and we're almost at the point where we can already set up the growth of the next stage. Now, they're going to want honey to make their mead. Now, I believe it is only honey that they require, which is actually quite useful. We can set up a little storage area here, and I will allow you to... You can accept honey and accept mead. In fact, you're going to get honey. I want at least 16 honey here, and you can accept up to 16 mead. Now, honey is one of very few things that has dual purpose. Honey can, by itself, be used as a food source, or it can be turned into mead, which is quite nice, because apparently grapes can't be used as a food source, but can be made into wine. It's one of those things. Honey is good for both a food source and for making mead. Provide your people with enough food, alcohol, and furniture to get to the next step. That shouldn't be too hard for me, though. I'm going to have to get up to 48 houses, which means a second district is going to be required. No matter what we do, we're going to need that. We should be able to get a decent amount of brewing going. Now, much like any other farm, each one of these can be tended by multiple beekeepers. So if I built a second beekeeper, both of them would be working at 50% efficiency for all intents and purposes, but you'd have no waste whatsoever. We could, in terms of the honey, because there would always be someone ready to go out. And you'll notice that as the beehives get ready, they start dripping honey, which is kind of a curious little visual way of representing that, but sure, okay. We are going to, however, need... is this one popping down trees? Good, it is. We are going to need to set up some carpentry very soon. To that end, I'm going to build out a little district down here strictly for our carpentry and other crafts. Now, what's our population like? Ooh, we've got very low unemployment there. Well played. We should be okay for food shortly, and certainly we'll be alright with having alcohol in a bit. In fact, let's let a little bit of time pass. Our first delivery of mead is on its way, and there we go. Our peddler should head out and start delivering the alcohol shortly. There we go, it's already happening. There we are, wonderful. We'll get a little bit of extra room, not a huge amount, so we're not going to be ready for everything just yet, but we've got a bit. Right, so what we're going to want over here, a woodcutter. We're also going to want a forester. And you're going to be buried deep in this forest, and all I want from you is trees. Alright, we're going to want a storage area for logs. We will take, let's take 16 logs, and we'll actually request the planks. I'm not sure that we'll ever really have the planks anywhere else, but we'll go to the effort of requesting them specifically just because. We'll draw this out a little bit. Yeah, sure, something along those lines. Then place down our sawmills, and we should be good to go. That'll leave a little bit of room for a later expansion. Finally, I would like an extra storage area, and this one is purely for furniture. There we are. We'll get a carpenter's hut down there as well. That should be fine. We might actually... I strongly suspect we'll have more than enough wood coming in for us to take care of all of that, honestly. That shouldn't be a problem. Right, okay. Well, given that we're going to need 48 homes, it's a bit awkward, honestly. It's like, where else can I expand out to? I wonder, should we perhaps have a second little area just built down here? Now, the problem is it wouldn't be hooked up to this. I could just duplicate everything and have an entire separate colony, but I feel that it's generally going to be better if we have the colonies connected in some way. So with that in mind, let's go ahead and draw down a road. We'll have a new colony set up down here. So this colony will, sure, we'll start around here, but I'm going to do things slightly different down here and leave a little bit of extra room because I've been asked to show off canals, and canals are pretty bloody awesome. However, they do leave a slightly larger footprint, and also they don't quite fit into the design that we use quite as well. That is going to be genuinely very frightening. I'm not a big fan of the proximity to the troll cave there. Hopefully we do not anger the trolls here. Hopefully. This is not a guarantee though. This could easily turn very nasty very quickly. Let us keep our fingers crossed, eh? Let's get rid of you. Now, most of my setup at the moment has been designed to support only this group here, but I think we should be okay to expand out a little bit more. In fact, we could have some expansion up here if we really wanted to. You know what? That worries me way too much. So yeah, we're gonna change that up. Sorry, people. I know I waited for you to move in first. I'm such a scallywag. Just wow. My levels of scallywaggery sometimes surprise even me. We will instead build this up as a bit of a nicer little district. There we go. So we'll have a nice little garden set up there. I'll draw this out and down here. Now down on this side, what we could do is have the canal continue on in this direction. I'm thinking, I could be misjudging this completely. I sincerely hope I am not, because canals are not cheap. They are very much not cheap. But I think we might be able to make this work. If I haven't completely flubbed it, then this should actually be quite nice. And also, it leaves a little room over on this side for me to place down a peddler or two. And an apothecary as well. Okay, right. Immediately, we're going to restrict the cross of the peddlers there. We will also have storage just up there. And much as we have in the other peddler, we will accept worst, mead, and medicine. 12 each. That should be fine. There we go. Crack on. Now, we are going to have to expand out our food? No. But we probably will need to expand out our medicine. So let's go ahead and do that right now. Let's get a herbalist shop right down here. And sure, we'll place it over there just to make a little bit of room for you. There we go. As for down here, I strongly suspect we're going to need to upgrade our storage of furniture. That is going to be a necessity. We're not going to be able to get away from that one, I'm afraid. Also, we will draw this out along here. Sure, we'll just come up that far. Now, what I would like from you is to accept, or rather request, furniture. We'll let you... I'm not even sure if we're going to be able to trade for clothing. It might not be possible. But I'm going to have you only request 12. That way I can share it out between the two different districts a little bit easier, regardless. Set this one up as well. Only request 12. There we go. That should work fairly well. We're probably going to end up... Yeah, we're going to end up with quite a lot of unemployment, but our tax is going to be pretty high as a result, which will work quite well for us at the end of the day. How much meat have we got over there? We've actually got a lot of meat just sat there right now. Wood-wise, I mean, we're bringing in a bit of wood, but I'm quite concerned about the fact that leather is just stacking up. Very concerned with that, actually. Do they just not bring the leather back? Because one thing that you can often find in these sorts of games is if a building outputs multiple resources, if any of the resources are backlogged, are backstuffed, then it stops production at all. So even though it's only the feathers that are hanging around, they won't hunt at all because they haven't got room for a secondary resource. But it looks like it's actually flowing fairly smoothly at the moment. Tea helps my brain work. Lemon and ginger, for those who are curious. Right, okay, so we're just waiting on a bit of furniture down here. And of course, we're waiting on a fair bit of beautification up there, but that's going to take a little while, I think. Down here, I think we've got more than enough people for us to set up an extra woodcutter. And indeed, let's get an extra sawmill going as well, shall we? So, new sawmill. Oh, you scallywag. You waited. You literally waited for me. Hello, neighbour. We require your assistance in one of our projects. We have a shortage of 1,600 gold. May we expect you to make the contributions? You have 6 months to comply. Sure, you can take it. We are obliged for your contribution. Yeah. I love this. Like, yeah, you have 6 months to voluntarily give me this stuff, or I'll be angry. You wouldn't like me when I'm angry. But that's fine. We are seeming to do reasonably well. Once we've got both of these running, it should be a lot better for us. There we go. Let's continue to move the wood out there. There we are. Fantastic. You know what? Since each location is... I'm going to stop requesting wood. Since each location that needs it is making their own, I'm going to stop requesting it because that's going to drastically reduce the walking time for our haulers. Drastically reduce it. So that'll work out fairly well for us. The only thing that should be being requested are these 2 locations now, which are asking for the foods and medicines. How about you? Yep, you're just accepting. No, you're requesting, honey. Well, now you're just accepting it. There we go. Things shouldn't be too hard to manage, though. Yeah, we seem to be doing okay with regards to the medicine as well at the moment, which is very nice to see. What I might do on this side, though, is place down an extra forester's hut. About there. This one will plant both mushrooms and trees. So it gives an extra place for our herbalists to gather from, and, you know, ensures that there is plenty of wood for our woodcutter as well, which should work out to our benefit on the whole. Now then, one thing we haven't yet started to do is trade, and right now we've actually got a fairly strong economy. We don't really need anyone else's help, but we should be trading with the rest of the world. It is always worth doing that, even if it's just logs, because it builds up influence with them. Sure, we'll trade away our leather, don't need that. We will... Well, we're never going to have an overflow of honey at the moment, but mead is probably one of the main things that we could sell right now. I'm going to say, make sure I've got at least 16 logs in storage, but you can sell any excess as well. That shouldn't be too much of a problem there. That'll bring in a small trickle of money here and there, but we are going to need to drastically improve our beekeeping right now. That is definitely going to be the next area that is holding us back. So we're going to play... Well, actually, I would lose all of those beautiful flowers there. Hello, neighbour. We require your assistance in another one of our projects. We have a shortage of 16 loads of worst. May we expect you to make the contribution? Oh. All right. Yes, you may have our 16 worst, you scallywag. There we go. But we'll place a beekeeper down there simply because I don't want to waste those awesome flowers there. That's a really nice collection. So once again, we need to place down roughly 24. It doesn't need to be exact, but that's about as much that a single beekeeper can handle. We'll have them down here as well. You don't want to go too far away from the beekeeper, because the further the beekeeper has to walk, the less they can realistically manage. Have those, and I think we'll have another 4 as well. There we are, and one more. Oh, a plague threat, really? Oh, blast! There's nothing much we can do, so you know, it's a shame, but oh well. That should be enough beehives to keep those 2 running for a long time. Next, we will go ahead and place down another mead brewery, and that will hopefully manage everything that we need. I am quite sad that we got the plague, though. That's very, very worrying. I mean, we've got some mushrooms down here, so perhaps... Yeah, just in case, I think we're going to go ahead and place down another herbalist shop just about there. I think we should end up with enough wood overall. I may expand this area out, though. I will have it produce trees as well. Let's have a think. We could place down... how much workforce have we got? No, I'm not in a great rush to get any more workers right now. There we go. That's not doing too badly there. Right, next up, let's have a look. We should be seeing people rapidly start bringing in all of the necessary equipment. We've got 0.5 medicine there. How about up here? 7.1. Feels like one of them may be getting preferential treatment, honestly. I'm not sure how I feel about that. I think you might be being a bit of a scallywag. Let's run this all the way down, that way they can exchange. Oh no, I've created a link, and suddenly the peddler's like, no, there are people who are hungry, we must get there right now. No, they're gonna stay hungry. Oh, damn it, too late, he's already escaped. Wow, scallywags. That is a point in favor of always placing down barriers. Anywhere that your peddlers can get out of the district they're meant to be in, place a barrier. Always assume that they're gonna find a way. How are things going over here? I mean, we've got quite a lot of meat. Effectiveness this year, only 84%. Was that because you didn't get enough wood, I wonder? It is quite possible that it is. Why was I planting mushrooms and not trees? Someone explain this to me? Oh my lord. Why was that a thing that was happening? Got many hunters' lodges, and you're meant to be up. What the dickens did I do up here? What kind of madness was this? Oh my goodness. Alright, well, I'll place this down. Let's get that over there. I mean, with this many mushrooms, I might as well have another herbalist up here as well. Sure, okay, you can plant some more mushrooms. Though that is going to necessitate making sure that we are actually chopping enough wood too. Alright, that can go there. And then finally, we'll have our herbalist shop that can... sure, we'll place the herbalist shop just up there. That's fine. It's annoying, but fine. We are going to need storage for it, though. That storage can live just about here. Oh, it's gonna rot my brain seeing that. So I'll put the storage over here instead. Alright, there we are. So we want just medicine and logs. 16 of each, and that's all. There we go. That should work. Let's make sure that there is a storage area for the medicine down here. Sure, we can also add this one in there so that they can both store 16. That shouldn't be too bad. There we are, perfect. That one is only storing 16. Well, no, I think this will work out okay. That shouldn't be too much of a problem. Right, do we have much in the way of new trade routes? We can get rid of the leather, more leather and more feathers. We don't use any of it right now, so no particular reason to store it. We'll also get rid of the worst. And as long as we've got 16 meat, we'll get rid of meat as well. For quite a lot of things, as long as I've got a stockpile of it, I don't mind selling what I've got there. It'll make us a fair old bit of cash, actually. Now, one advantage to the way that we've set all of this up is that we can happily build out some nice little areas that'll benefit everywhere. So let's start off by building the town hall right about here, let's say. There we go. And we'll have a little entryway over there, a little entryway over here. Lovely. And some benches. Sure, you can have a little bit of money. That's not a problem. What? Scallywags! I was just being nice to people. Oh, my lord. This is what happens when you're nice to people. Someone comes along and abuses your generosity and nicks your money. Every single time. There are no exceptions. No exceptions, not even once. We'll have this down there. Yeah, we'll actually just continue this pattern. It's a little bit more of an understated town hall, but I like it. I think it has its certain amount of charm. However, oh no, that tree isn't actually in the way. That's fine then. Given that, we can let's just run a bit of cobble around the edges, I think. There we are. Like so. And yeah, something like this. Lovely. And we can have flowers in between. That actually looks quite nice to me. Over here though, on these corners we will actually have a little bit of extra cobble. There we are. Now anyone who wants to visit the town hall can do so either direction. That's perfectly fine. But with that we can now add in the all-important tax collector. So let's pop down tax collector right here and a tax collector. Let's not put it right next to them because it's going to upset them if I do. And we will have the constabulary. Will the constabulary help or hinder Let's have a quick look. The constabulary doesn't really have that much of a negative, I would say. If I place it over here, it's probably not going to really strongly negatively affect things. It has a little bit of an impact, but on the whole, it's not terribly bad. Yeah, we'll just dot those around. So there we go. That's the main thing sorted for now. So we're going to be collecting our taxes. Let's make the constabularies just look a little bit nicer, perhaps. Let's do something like this. Something there. We'll have a little path going out in either direction. And we do not have stone yet, but eventually we can have maybe a little statue or something. But for the time being, we'll pop down a tree. Oh no! Damn that bench! Damn you! Damn you for ruining with my aesthetic, you scallywag. I'll have to have a middle bench then, because I can't control the orientation of benches. I've tried. It's very frustrating when one just decides, I'm just going to point the other way, even though the one I'm right next to is pointing this way. Nah, I go my own route. I'm my own bench. I don't follow the other benches. I set the trends. Don't follow them. There we go. Oh dear, that is not actually what I intended. It seems that overwrites cobble. Interesting. I'll bear that in mind in the future. There we go, little constabulary there, just helping out the houses. Got a couple of houses that have upgraded. Our taxes are at medium at the moment, but on the whole, that's not terribly bad. How much honey are we bringing in? We're pretty much meeting demand. We don't seem to be struggling for alcohol on the whole, but we are struggling for furniture, and that is not a good thing. So let's go ahead, place down another place which is just going to produce trees. We will get a new woodcutter about there. I will then get a new sawmill as well, or I will in just a moment. There we are. New sawmill there, new carpenter's workshop there, and a road so that they can actually get to work. Perfect. Right, that should help out. Once we've got that set up, I doubt we're going to see any issues with furniture for a little while. I would hope, at the very least. Right, the last thing we need to do before we consider these more or less dealt with is time to place down some niceties, such as a library. Sure, we'll place the one library there, and we'll place this library. Let's see, where can I put this? We'll place this library about there, I think. And we will also have the Minstrels Guild just opposite it, like there. And we'll do the same over here. We'll have all of these things together. Alright, so, unfortunately, they are facing that direction, which is a little bit frustrating. I wish we could rotate those as well, but oh well. There we are, and we'll do the same thing over here. And just connect these two up. There we go. People should be fairly happy with that. Why can't I place that? There we go. Right, in terms of further decorations though, I'm going to say that, sure, we can have some benches at the path outside. You can have some worst. Yeah, that's not a problem. Turkey, be gone. Get out the way of my library. There we go. So, just a couple of benches on the way in. Ooh, got a little bit of an issue here. This one's much, much closer than the other one. This one cannot have benches. I'm afraid there will be no benches here. These libraries shall, and the Minstrel Guild shall be benchless. We will, however, have some nice hedges. There we are. I mean, I was going to say you can't say further than that. You absolutely could if you wanted to. But hopefully you don't. We'll draw this up on the outside as well. Yeah, we'll just have that going along the side. A little bit understated compared to my usual designs, but you don't always want to make it massively, kind of obnoxiously wealthy. Over here, though, I think we will splurge a little bit. By a little, yes, I mean a lot. Let's go for... Let's have a quick gander at what we can set up here. Let's have some flowers outside. Can I not place one there? No, I cannot. Let's get rid of whatever you are and place some flowers. No, really? Why can I not do this? Be gone. There we go. And flowers will have some just planters between them. Down here, though, I think we'll have 2 more trees. It's a little bit of an odd design from my usual one, but honestly, I think it's kind of pretty. Yeah, let's draw this out. And along. There we go. And as for this little slot there, we're just going to have some cobble there, I think. Just to sharpen that area out a little bit. There we go. And... sure, let's have some benches right at the back. Just imagine that this is a little area that people can go out back and just chill out for a little bit. It'll be lovely. Then we'll just have the ferns and hedges going along. There we go. Quite nice, I think. Quite nice. A little bit tighter than my usual designs, but I think it still works. Now, we're starting to accrue lore, which is incredibly useful, and we're also accruing fame. What's our tax at? Its tax is at low at the moment. Okay. Wasn't expecting that, frankly. I was expecting that to be a lot better. But we've got loads of medicine available now. We should not have any issue keeping our people well prepared for any would-be plagues. One thing we're not doing so well anymore is stockpiling worst. So I'm actually going to take worst off trading for the time being. We don't want to trade that anymore. What we want to do is perhaps even get some more coming in. I notice there's a nice little area down here that we can perhaps start harvesting as well. And that would make sure that we never have those little dips in terms of our food supply. But for the time being, I would like to upgrade a couple of my houses. So let's go ahead, use the basic design, just plant down trees behind the houses, and that'll take care of all of these. Our others are going to take a little bit of time to get to. Let's see. Oh, wow, someone just nicked a lot of money. My goodness, and I thought I was being a good king. Why do they want to drive me to having them all beheaded? I want to be a nice, benevolent king, but no, you're making me broke. And a broke king is a dangerous king. Don't you understand this? This is how it works. It's how it's always worked. There we go. I'm nowhere near broke, but I still don't like people stealing my money. I may behead them anyway. Over here, though, we've got a nice little area that we can prettify. Yeah, I like that. And along this, we can have plenty of planters. There we go, we've got enough room. Oh, that works out so well. That works out so incredibly well. I like it. I like it a lot. There we are. Oh, that's so pretty. I'm not sure what I'm going to do over there. I might do exactly the same, but we'll see how that goes. But that worked out really well. Okay, so with that done, yeah, we are dipping a little bit low on food every now and then, but that isn't because we don't have it, which is interesting. Sure, you can have that. They've got the worst there, and they've got the worst there. So, why is that, I wonder? Why are they getting so low that they're saying they're going to devolve? Because usually it's a case of, yeah, we kind of need it, and then, okay, yeah, you haven't satisfied that need in so long that we are now going to devolve. But a little bit concerned about that one, actually. But on the plus side, we can have a look at our research. Now, if we want to get all the way up to just making money, can we do so? Let's have a quick look. What kind of mines do we get? No, we cannot. But we can get up to the point where we have infinite coal and iron ore, and thus effectively infinite iron bars, which would be quite useful. We can make a lot of things out of wood as well, like guards towers and the likes. These all require manning, So that might be something that we're going to have to look into, or we can build a stone guard tower if we have stone. So with that in mind, well, how much do we need for the first tier of mining? 540. We can easily do that now that we're actually starting to bring in a reasonable amount of income. So yeah, I think that's where we're going to be heading fairly soon, actually. Once we've got that, we will be able to build some stone guard towers. And of course, also build the canals and get this little area all upgraded. That is, of course, one of the conditions for moving forward on this campaign. So we do need to do that reasonably soon. But I think that's a good place to wrap up this episode. I hope you have enjoyed and will be joining me for the next, where we're going to finish off upgrading this little area. Hopefully get up to the point where we're just mining stone. And at that point, probably drop down a couple of guard towers, at least to protect from that troll and this troll. Also, canals. So I hope you're looking forward to that. As ever, do remember to leave a like if you liked, sub if you haven't, and I'll see you next time. Take care, everyone.